Here's to the ones who dream.
This was a dream of yours, I know. Actually, you wanted to do this before Whiplash at one point or something. Can you talk about the genesis of this, where it came from?
Pretty early on, we, started kind of batting ideas back and forth and sharing in a love for particularly old Hollywood musicals and the scores of old Hollywood and the scores of the French New Wave and just the way music and film interacted and in those eras and just how inspiring that kind of marriage was to us. This was definitely, our longer running, kind of dream project that we were hoping any kind of mileage we got out of Whiplash would help us get through the door, and that's what wound up happening.
How did the music part of this come along? A big collaboration with Damien, obviously, since this goes back to your college days, and an earlier film you did too.
Yeah, so I always start at the piano with Damien, sending piano demos back and forth with him, just sort of finding those melodies, and that can be a very long process because, we go through many, many melodies, some of them just bad ideas, just really bad melodies, some of them good but not quite good enough, and then when Damien finally says, yes, that's the one, sometimes it's number 20 or 30. Once we had themes that were either the main theme of the movie or themes that belonged to other characters or other themes, then we would start shaping them into song melodies. So, Damien and I would talk about this is the verse, this is the chorus, how to, structure them into songs. And then once we felt like those were locked musically, I'd pass them off to Pasek and Paul, and they would write a lyric to the melody.
Emma, fantastic performance. We actually knew before seeing this movie you could sing and dance. You did Cabaret not too long ago on Broadway. Did that help in preparing for this and getting the role, or how did it come about for you to do this?
It definitely helped in preparing for the role because I felt like I had a certain amount of stamina that I probably wouldn't have had previously in any capacity, just to sing and dance each day and learn tap and ballroom and all of that.
It's a very contemporary romantic story that I think is going to appeal to a younger generation and maybe bring them back into the fold for what great musicals could be.
What was most touching to me about Mia was that I understood those periods of time where you just feel completely ignored, like you're not even getting the chance to audition anymore because so many things haven't gone well, and you're not even able to try and fail. And she sort of has that moment in the middle of the movie, and I think that was really, even more than I knew, was something, a special part of that process to tell, because I think any creative person has had that moment, even if they've been steadily working for a while, where you're like, I'm delusional, what am I doing with my life?
How did this come about for you? I mean, because obviously we know who John Legend is and the great musician and the Oscar-winning composer and everything else like that, but acting, is this something you wanted to do?
Well, I had done it when I was younger. I had been in quite a few musicals in school and in community theater when I was a kid, but I had focused on music since then. When Damien approached me with this idea, first of all, his calling card worked for me because I was a huge fan of Whiplash, and I thought it was such a brilliant film, and I thought it was a great film for music and for musicians to appreciate, and so I had a feeling that he would just make an excellent, beautiful musical, and if I were to do something and put myself in as an actor, this was a great way to start because I knew I'd be in good hands.
You actually contributed a song called Start a Fire, right?
Yeah, I wrote the song with Justin and a couple other songwriters, and the idea was to write a song for this character, Keith, who had a background in jazz and understood what that was, but was trying to make something contemporary and a bit of a departure from where Ryan's character was. It has the exact right feeling I think we were trying to go for in saying, he's going a different path. It's not that it's a worse path, but it's a different path than what Ryan's character wanted to go in. And we wanted to illustrate that could be good also, but it's just different.